This movie wasn't really on my radar this weekend, but I'm glad that I watched it because it surprised me a bit with some of its messaging. Let's talk about it. Raising the Bar, the Alma Richards Story, is the newest movie from T.C. Christensen, who also directed Escape from Germany, The Cokeville Miracle, and The 17 Miracles. It stars Paul Wuthridge as Alma Richards, an Olympic athlete who won gold in the high jump at the 1912 Olympics. The movie basically is about Alma's life story as he goes from a small town in Parowan, Utah, to a track and field star in Provo, Utah, and then to the Olympics. So let's talk about some of the fun moments. The euphemisms that people come up with in this movie are always funny. When was the last time you heard diggity dog or son of a button on a movie screen? Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Also, Paul Wuthridge does look like he could be an athlete or a commercial real estate agent. He definitely has the look. But where this movie shines is where faith-based movies should shine, which is in the messaging. There are two really good themes that resonate throughout the movie. One is that if there's an obstacle in your way, you've got to learn to get over that. He did that literally as a high jumper, but he also did it figuratively through some of the story conflicts that came up. One message that I think was even better was the theme that you don't need to necessarily spend time in direct service to make a positive impact on others or even to do what you feel is your calling in life. There is a scene in the beginning of the movie where his mother was in frequent service in the community, and Alma's dad told Alma that he should spend more time serving others. And Alma pushed back against it a bit by saying that he felt that this was what God had asked him to do. This theme really developed well as the movie progressed, especially at the Olympics. Also, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The main score was mostly big band style of music, and it's always nice, especially in small budget movies, when the main character has their own musical theme. It just makes the main character that much more special. There are a couple of things that, as a movie critic, that I should mention. The first is that conflict was resolved too quickly or too conveniently. And some conflict wasn't even resolved by anything that the protagonist did. It just kind of resolved itself or other people resolved it for him. It just adds more depth when conflicts, major or minor, can resolve in a way that it builds someone's character. Now, I get it that for true stories, this can be a little bit difficult because things happen the way that they happened. But also, writers choose the elements to include in the story, and writers can choose those conflicts that better build a protagonist. And also, while there were several good things that happened in the final act, I'm not going to spoil anything, even though it is a true story and you can just look it up. The final act really needed to be shorter, or at least more interesting. Let me give an example. The final act of the first Karate Kid movie could have felt really long if the audience had to watch each round of the All Valley Karate Tournament until Daniel made it to the final round. But instead, they made most of it into a fun montage until the more important matches. Had they done something like that in this movie, having a montage for the less important matches, it would have made the last scenes more dramatic. If there was a more focus on the later competitions, it would have made the ending feel less drawn out. There's also one thing that I need to mention, one fun thing about these small budget movies. The people who are involved are often not super experienced and are just doing their best. There is this one scene when this was obvious, but it's still a lot of fun to see. When Alma was practicing high jump in a gym in high school, the kids in the background had to pretend that they were doing random exercises. One kid was doing jumping jacks, one was running back and forth across the gym, and one was running up and down the stairs. They were just random exercises like a normal gym class. But overall, it's not a bad movie. If you are aware of the story of Alma Richards, or you just like faith-based movies with a different theme, you will probably like this movie. It's not a bad watch. It's not as good as Escape from Germany or 17 Miracles because the story is not as dramatic, but it is fun. But let me know what you think. Have you seen Raising the Bar, the Alma Richards Story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.